You might be able to tell, I just rolled out of bed. I'm sitting here in the dank basement with the new bathrobe of doom. This is Bathrobe of Doom 2.0. And smoking a Danish Spool pipe from Missouri Meerschaum containing Murray's Warrior Plug. This is tobacco with a nicotine turbocharger. This is really strong in nicotine. You're going to want to have a glass of water handy, or as I have, the big mug of coffee, because this one could give you the spins if you don't smoke it carefully. And I'm a nicotine hound, kids. I love nicotine. And this is almost too much for me. I'm going to let it go out. We'll do the delayed gratification technique on this, I think, and switch to some nasal snuff. Yeah, it's awfully good, but oh, man, is it strong. I'm going to grab something at random here I'll grab one of these little JNF Rustica. Have no idea which of the playing cards I'm grabbing. Let's see. Is this the Queen? Well, let's take a pinch and find out. Rustica from Johnson Nassoir Factory. Here we go. Cheers, up yours. All right, so you guys got me. Well, some of you did. Some of you figured out that my video yesterday was a rather elaborate April Fool's joke. And for all of you who commented as such, good for you, you figured it out. Right at the end, I commented on the date, and that was the clue that some of you needed. One guy, Rhododendron, called me a fraud. Well, up yours, Rhododendron. It was not intentional when I said 2003. I just misspoke. I started this channel in July of 2013. And you're right, YouTube was not in existence in 2003. That was not just a misspoke, but after I reviewed the video after recording it, I realized, well, that could be another clue that yesterday's video was an elaborate April Fool's joke. So don't worry, I am going to have to slow down on buying snuffs. I can't really justify the expense, even though snuff is the cheapest form of tobacco out there. It really is. Per gram, nasal snuff is the best value. And I love it dearly. Like my pipes, like the occasional cigar, will still occasionally smoke a cig. I'm just a tobacco-loving fool. And maybe fool is the operant word because everybody keeps telling me how bad it is for me. I think that nasal snuff and Swedish snus, my opinion, not medical fact, but my opinion is that Swedish snus and nasal snuff are safer forms of tobacco than anything you set a flame to. So, here we go. Part of the reason for that is that when you burn tobacco, it releases a class of chemicals called nitrosamines or nitrosamines, nitrosamines, nitrosamines. You also get nitrosamines from eating a steak that's been barbecued over charcoal or wood. You get nitrosamines, and they are purported to be carcinogenic. Okay, so if you can avoid setting fire to your tobacco, you may be safer than if you smoked it. And I'm not sure. Again, I'm not a doc. I'm not a medical professional in any way. And I do enjoy my combusted tobacco. I really do. But it's probably not as safe, in quotes, as nasal snuff or Swedish snus. I just found this. I ordered this with my last order from Sister Muff. And this is the Siberia 36 milligram snus. I am going to send this tin to the first person who asks for it. All right, so you have to write me a letter, an email at unclesquinty@gmail.com. The first email I receive, I will send this to you happily, free of charge, because I think my intuition is this is going to be way too strong for me. And again, I'm a nicotine-loving fool. I just think 36 is pushing it. When I used to do snus on a much more regular basis, I think the highest I ever got was 24 milligram. And even when I was vaping nicotine, I never went much above 18 milligrams. So that'll give you a clue as to my nicotine tolerance. I love snus. I wish that I could get it more easily. Now I can get the fake snus from Camel, for instance, and it's real sweet and it's tobacco candy and it's not my thing. And I can get some of the general snoozes here at a local, convenience store, or as you'd say in Great Britain, a corner shop or a news agent. I can get them. But I can't get I can't get Odin, for instance. I can't get Off-Road. There are a lot of brands of snus that I have to order from Sweden or from some European distributor, and it gets expensive. An example of that is Northerner. The last time I tried to buy from Northerner, they no longer ship to my state for legal reasons. So snus has been hard to get, but I will be happy to send you. Now, Larry Laffer, my buddy, Zero Fox, my buddy, anybody who won back in March and didn't win a prize, please contact me. I'll figure something for you because I feel really bad about it. All of my packages that I tried to send to Europe, they were all returned with no real explanation. It said incorrect address information, but I know that's not true because I cut and pasted your information that you sent me directly, not only to the shipping label, but to the customs form. So I don't have any idea why many items came back to me, and I still have them, and I will be trying to send them out again as soon as I can come up with the budget to do so. But this little snooze, that'll cost me nothing to send, especially if I'm sending it within the United States. So feel free, if you're the first person to contact me about it, it's yours, you can have it. Fair enough? I think I'm going to try to get this pipe going again. Although the Janta Naswar Rustica treated me very nicely just now. I like it. Not using one of my clippers. I've just found a Bic. I love the fact that pipe smoking purists, every time I light up my pipe with a disposable lighter, they go, ah! Dirty butane, dirty butane, dirty, dirty, dirty butane. Fred Hanna is getting constipated. Hi, Fred. Fred got pissed at me because I voted for Trump many years ago. And we had quite a spirited discussion on the phone about it. I didn't convince him, nor he me, and I haven't spoken to him since. That's what's going on in these days in the politic of the United States of America. We've been through worse. We'll go through worse, even worse in the future, I'm sure. Loudmouthed orange man pisses off a lot of people. I understand that. So, and now you got a district attorney in New York trying to make his bones and fulfill his campaign promises by stacking up a whole bunch of what I believe will be proven to be nonsense charges against the former president. We'll see. Yeah, when Hillary Clinton was charged with finance, people forget that. When Hillary Clinton was accused of campaign finance violations, she was required to pay a little fine and it went away. But it's the evil orange man, so they're coming after him. I hope this district attorney knows what the hell he's doing, because truthfully, he may have just given all of the diehard Trump supporters and even people sitting on the fence, just gave them ammunition. You know, they're going to be much more motivated to vote for Trump if they think he's being politically persecuted. So I think it was a political misstep. But, you know, Alvin Bragg has made his way into the history books as being the first district attorney to ever charge a former or sitting U.S. president in a court of criminal law. So good job, Chubby. You're in the history books. He's chubby. Funny stuff going on. If you would like to hear some great commentary in the form of music. Now, I will tell you this guy gets accused of being right-wing all the time. He's not. He's just common sense. He may be slightly conservative, but he isn't a, quote, MAGA Republican. There are three things you got to worry about in a zombie apocalypse. You got to worry about the zombies. And you have to worry that the zombies can't be killed. And then the third thing you have to worry about in a zombie apocalypse, of course, is Orange Man. But if you want to hear a great, he's a rapper, but he kind of crosses into country and pop as well. Although he'd hate hearing that. The guy's name is Tom MacDonald. And he just released a couple of weeks ago a really terrific record along with country star John Rich. You may remember his duo Big and Rich. They had a hit a few years ago with a song called Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. But check him out, Tom MacDonald. He's completely self-published. He has no label. He is unsigned. And he's taking the iTunes charts, Billboard, and everybody else by storm. Typical video, when he uploads a new video, he will typically garner 1 million views in less than 24 hours. So the guy's on fire. You ought to check him out. Tom MacDonald, MacDonald. You can see him here on YouTube. I'm not a big rap guy, believe it or not. I mean, I like some rap, and I was there listening as early as 1986, when, you know, the very beginnings, I guess, of rap, listening to the world-famous Supreme Team show out of New York. And the first thing I heard was a Malcolm McLaren production, I guess not really known up until that point for producing rap. And it was called Buffalo Girls. And that was the first rap tune, unless I count Blondie's Rapture, or Jimmy Dean's Big John, or Lauren Green's Ringo, or Wink Martindale's Deck of Cards. But as far as African American rap, looking to the mid-1980s for its start, they're kind of there from the beginning. In the early days when they tried to whitewash rap to make white people like it, Vanilla Ice, Beasties, and even black rappers like Fresh Prince, Will Smith, the Chris Rock bitch slapper, and Young MC, Bust a Move, which is still one of the coolest songs ever. Just that bass line. It's just cool. Love it. And I bought early albums by Public Enemy, NWA, Tupac, and I got into it. And I started really, really enjoying rap. I think it's fair to say it is the poetry of the late 20th century. I know a lot of serious poets that wouldn't like to hear that, but pretty cool. People ask me what my favorite music is, and I wish I could show you without YouTube climbing up my ass with a blowtorch. It's bad. I mean, I have no way that I know of licensing music. I suppose I could just do reaction videos like everybody else and their grandmother does. Warrior Plug by Murray's. But God, I better be drinking coffee because this stuff is giving me the spinnies. Do I look as fresh out of bed as I feel? Yeah, I think it's time to invest in a haircut. What do you think? This is the longest I have ever worn my hair in my life. Back when I was in high school, in the 1970s, early 1970s, everybody was wearing long hair. Like all of my male friends had hair down to at least below their collar, most of them down to their shoulders. But I had a very opinionated grandmother who thought it was just terrible that young men would not cut their hair. And I gave in to the pressure of my parents and my grandma. And I never cut my hair, or I never grew my hair long, I should say. I had to wait until I was in my mid-60s to start growing my hair out. I don't know, what do you think? Think I need a haircut? I do. One of the reasons, I'm still negotiating with them, but I am supposed to be appearing on a reality show, and it's going to be shot during the month of August in Medellin, Colombia. And I am hoping that I can get the contract and stuff sorted out. This was actually supposed to happen a long time ago, but we got preempted by a transsexual. They chose to go with the transsexual love affair instead of with the old guy going out with a young woman storyline. Not me, my best friend, a guy I've known for 51 years. He's 66, he's in love with a 27-year-old girl. Idiot. Yeah, this guy is not real famous, my friend. Not real famous, but if you watched television in the late 1980s, 90s, you might have seen him. He was the master of ceremonies, producer, etc. Portrayed as gay, even though he's not. He was the master of ceremonies, etc. for Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, or GLOW, back in the day. And without revealing too much about the project, he is the elderly gringo in love with the beautiful, busty young Colombiana. That's right, I said busty. She seems to be a pretty nice lady, too. I've not spoken with her yet. But from the video calls and stuff I've witnessed from afar, she seems to be really, really nice. So that could be coming up in August. I may be returning also to Central America sooner than that. I love it down there, and I need more practice with my shitty Espanol. So yeah, yesterday's video was an elaborate April Fool's joke for those of you who figured it out, particularly Zero Fox. There were a lot of guys that jumped on right away and said, nah, this isn't real. This is an April Fool's joke. Yes, it was. Not a very good one. And like I said, some of the things I said are absolutely true. I am still embarrassed about my lack of production values. I really am. And what I said about other YouTube reviewers, I encourage you to go look around and look at other tobacco reviewers' content here on YouTube. In fact, views for them are actually good for me and for everybody else in the YouTube tobacco community because YouTube is very anti-tobacco as an organization, as a stance. That's why I'm getting my videos age restricted. They're not giving me strikes, but they are age restricting my videos. I always figured out the disclaimers were good enough. By the way, YouTube, kids are going to do what kids want to do. So me not talking about safer forms of tobacco is not going to influence today's average youth from trying whatever appeals to them. We've got this big fentanyl problem. By the way, for God's sakes, I don't care. Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, CBS, NBC, ABC, or anybody else, for Christ's sake, the drug is not pronounced fentanyl. Look at the way it's spelled, you freaking idiots. You're supposed to be broadcast professionals. It's fentanyl. God, that pisses me off. When you're dealing with a subject as serious as kids ODing and dying, you should at least get the name of the drug right, you freaking idiots. And that's everybody. That's Fox, that's MSNBC, that's CNN, CBS, NBC, ABC, LSD, THC, QR code, whatever. You're all saying the name of the drug wrong. It's fentanyl. Ill, as in the drug will make you ill, not all, as it cures all. Idiots. No, I mean seriously, idiots. And this is yet another reason why Americans are very untrusting nowadays of mass media, particularly legacy media. Media that started out being broadcast through the air on powerful signals, then went to cable, then went to your phone. These traditional broadcasters, traditional news agencies, your performance over the last 10 years has been somewhere between disappointing and disgusting. So tighten up your shit, will you please? It's hard enough to get the truth out of the news without having you make mispronunciations. A good example, I was watching Fox, and I don't want to pick on Fox, although they deserve to be picked on sometimes. Just like The View deserves to be picked on sometimes. Just like MSNBC deserves to be picked on sometimes. But Fox could not get the number of people who died in Friday's tornadoes correct. First it was 18, then it was 13, then it was 28, then it was 25. And because I've got friends down there, I kept Fox on basically all day yesterday because they seem to be on the ground and covering things better down in Arkansas. And even they would not get the numbers right. Tighten up your act. Another thing I'd like to bitch about to all the news media. I know Donald Trump's indictment is like the biggest thing ever. But there's other stuff going on in the world that's important. And you're doing your viewers an incredible disservice by just repeating the same 3 news stories throughout the day, picking the hot topic and going all in on it. If you are going to be a news gathering organization, by God, just do the news. Don't sell me something. You're selling me your news the same way you're trying to sell me relief factor, balance of nature. That was me pounding my desk to make a point in a video. Oh. You're on camera right now. Your voice is going to be heard by dozens of people. Okay. That's Mrs. Squinty. Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. And I don't care what network it is. You're all about bullshit. Yeah, your announcers might look pretty and be bubbly and vivacious as females. They might be masculine and handsome. I'm told that Jesse Waters on Fox News is one of the most handsome men who's ever been in broadcasting. I don't know. But you got to have more than a pretty face and a slick rap. Be a journalist. Cover the fricking news and not just, ooh, Donald Trump, 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 ooh, Donald Trump. You're doing a disservice to your viewers and your advertisers. Tighten your shit up. Right the hell now. End of sermon. Go in peace. Speaking of sermons, today is, in the Christian world, Palm Sunday. Now, as a teenager, I always thought Palm Sunday was to celebrate my first girlfriend. I love you, Manuela. But, no, it's much more serious than that. I'm sorry for the little blasphemy. Don't burn me at the stake. Well, it's a big time in the Christian calendar as we enter Holy Week, culminating, of course, a week from today in Easter Sunday, Pascua Florida. I don't know. I read some university is trying to ban the words bunny, chocolate, eggs. I forget. Happy Easter. You can't say Happy Easter on this college campus because it triggers people. Is this where we've come? Can't say Christmas tree on that campus. Can't say pioneer. Really? Can't say female. Female. It's one of the two sexes. It's the double X chromosome thing. You know? Species are male or female. Yes, there are hermaphroditic species, but they're fairly rare. And I have nothing, by the way, this is not an indictment of trans people. Not at all. I think trans people are pretty brave to pursue, even though a lot of them are going to end up looking like sad experiments by a blind Dr. Frankenstein. And that I feel sorry for. I don't think we should give anybody abuse because of who they are. I think people deserve criticism for things they do, but not who they are. The fact that Adolf Hitler was a piece of shit as a human being is not nearly as important as the fact that he killed millions of people, right? Oh, he wasn't a nice guy. Yeah, who cares? No, I'm pretty sure he wasn't a nice guy. He killed 9 million people. Yeah. Fentanyl, not fentanyl. Fentanyl makes it sound like Armorall. Oh, your tires are looking pretty shitty. Bet you better get some fentanyl. Oh, okay. Your dashboard's kind of looking dirty. Better get some fentanyl. You know, it's a cousin of Armorall. It's fentanyl. For Christ's sakes, you ignorant, half-educated, pretty-faced television personalities. I hope somebody from Fox hears this. I doubt that they will. I doubt that anybody from MSNBC watches this channel. I've noticed that people who are in the media, particularly broadcast media, 90% ego, 10% ability. Although I'm told that some of the women who are on national news are, you know, supermodel caliber as far as their looks. I'm thinking that Rachel Maddow probably just is hot. I mean, when I hear her voice, all I think of is sex symbol. Hey, I don't know. I'm blind. I mean, she might look like Jay North in the 1960s sitcom Dennis the Menace. I don't know. That was a weird example to pull out of my ass, wasn't it? Jay North. I'm trying to remember the theme from the Dennis the Menace show. Da 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 dun 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 dun. Who are you listening to these days? What music is turning you on? You know, I might have to just pull out my keyboard and pretend I know how to play and sing to y'all. I don't know how I can get around this copyright thing on YouTube. You know, and I, having been a musician for much of my life, much of my adult life, bad musician, but still a musician, I understand that artists deserve to be paid. They need to be paid. And now that they're not selling so many physical copies of records and they're just doing downloads and YouTube views and Spotify and so on, got to make sure these folks get paid. I understand that. As a musician, I understand that. But I wish there was an easier path for me to pay music licensing so I could present you some cool music here on YouTube. I mean, I've got an immense music library, and it is immense. In vinyl LPs, I've got something like 1,200 of them. CDs, probably another 700. And that's not exaggerated. I've got a lot of cool music I would love to be able to bring to you. And of course, every time I go hear somebody, especially if they're an up-and-coming artist, you know, I go out to the lobby during intermission or after the show and I buy those CDs. Because again, I think artists need to be paid. But again, I can't show you any of my cool record collection here on YouTube because I'll start getting copyright strikes. And this was brought home to me last year when the Russian invasion of Ukraine. By the way, much more to that story than we're being told. Much more. Actually, Ukraine was the first aggressor. Nobody wants to hear about that. But when that came out, I thought, wow, okay, I got to do something to show my support for the people of Ukraine. So I found a composition that was written back right around the First World War, maybe a little before, by a Russian guy named Mussorgsky. It's called Pictures at an Exhibition. The song was called The Great Gate at Kiev. Okay? And I used it in a video. I thought, well, it's a piece of music that's over 100 years old. So, you know, copyright, no. The recording is copyright. And because the recording is from 1973, 50 years ago, I got a YouTube copyright strike. So, it sucks. I mean, I know my musical tastes are probably very different from yours, but I got some cool music that I would really like to present. And I would like to be able to play you the entire song, not just a bit here, a bit there, and then break up the song and comment on it with a so-called reaction video, which, by the way, they're all over YouTube now. Yeah, a lot of the reactions, too, are good, but a lot of them just aren't worth squat. Although there's a couple of guys that I really, really like. The OTB gang. They're out of Oklahoma. Two guys that just get absolutely high as a giraffe's ass and they react to videos. They're pretty entertaining. There's a guy named Stevie Knight. I like Stevie's reviews very much. Although he's an idiot, he doesn't listen to the whole song and then he just reacts Oh, I hate it. They use the N-word. Yeah, the point of using the N-word is to show how the powers that be want us to use that language so we further get divided. That's the point. But he didn't listen to the whole song, so of course he would have missed the last line. He just reacted to the use of the N-word. And he's a black guy, and I can understand that. I could understand the knee-jerk reaction. But if he had listened to the entire song, he would have realized the guy is talking about people who use those words deliberately for the purpose of dividing us, setting us against each other. It's a word I don't use. I have, but never in anger. Very funny. I was the only white guy in an all-black band for almost a year and 2 months. And this is back in the 80s. And we were doing really cool music, and the players were fantastic, and it was great. And we had a studio that was in the same sort of strip mall area right next to the Urban League office. I mean, this was in the hood. It was in the middle of a housing project in North Minneapolis. And one day I was busy working on programming a synthesizer. Back in the day, you built your sounds by scratch, from scratch. And if you were good, you would make your sounds from scratch. That's why they call it a synthesizer, because you're synthesizing the sounds. And I'm busy trying to program my one of my keyboards. And this guy is trying to talk to me, and he's going off about all of his girlfriends, except he used the word for female dog when referring to all of his girlfriends. And this and that, my bee this, my bees that, my bees give me money, my bees this, my bees that. And it was just irritating, and without even thinking, because I had heard it around me so often during the time I was there, that word, that horrible prohibited word, which I will just use the phrase prohibited word for. And without even thinking, I looked up and said, "Oh, prohibited word, please." And then went, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Black Person, please don't kill me." It just popped out of my mouth. There's no malice in it. It's a word. It's a word I dislike. It's a word I don't use. But this guy, this Stevie Knight man, all he had to do was hear that word, and he just lost it. And from then on, he was not even hearing the words of the rap at all. And if he had listened to the whole thing, he would have gotten to the punchline, which is, yes, we don't want to hear those words. Whether it's cracker, honky, yeah, I know the argument. White people was never slaves. Wrong. You don't know your history. You know, there was chattel slavery that involved white people, and you're ignorant if you think that blacks were the only race ever enslaved. You're stupid. Sorry, you're wrong. Look it up. Blind people were slaves during the Roman Empire. That's way before 1620. In case you have problems with simple arithmetic. But I don't like words like cracker, which is not a saltine. That's not what cracker means. It does not mean galleta. It does not mean, Nabisco. Cracker is a whip cracker. I'm not a whip cracker. If I try to crack a whip, I'd probably beat myself to death. I'm so clumsy. Honky, because white people had cars, and they would honk at black people walking down the middle of the road to have them move to the side so they wouldn't get run over. That's where honky comes from. My bathrobe is white. Yes? Here's my forearm. Here's my bathrobe. Does that look white to you? No, it's not white. Therefore, am I a person of color? Well, I'm not a colorless person. Well, I thank you for spending this time with me. Yeah, yesterday was an April Fool's joke. I don't know how many snuff reviews I'll be doing. People who choose to send me samples of something they want me to review, I will continue to accept said samples. I will still not accept samples from snuff makers or snuff retailers because I do not want my reviews to be biased in any way or perceived as being biased in any way. So I'm going to try to keep it honest and clean, but I'm not going to be buying any more new snuffs for a while, maybe for a long while. Guys, you have no idea. The sheer amount of snuff I have is just breathtaking. I find tap boxes and tins that I bought literally 12 years ago. They're still good. They're still good to sniff. But I'll never use all the snuff I've got. Not in a million years. Well, okay, maybe a million years. Did you see this? Ray Kurzweil. Now, Ray Kurzweil is pretty famous for a bunch of reasons. But even back in the 70s, he was predicting an internet. You know, this guy is very sharp, Ray Kurzweil. I've got a special place in my heart for Ray Kurzweil for two reasons. Ray Kurzweil invented, I think, the first machine that would read printed materials to the blind. It was called the Kurzweil Reader, and it was back in the late 1970s. You know, at the very start of the digital age, really. And he also lent his name to a company that made some of the best keyboards at the time. I used to have a Kurzweil PC-88, 88-key electric piano keyboard controller. But he says that we should all get computers implanted in our brains to make us better. Make us better. He also has very positive predictions for artificial intelligence, which frankly scares the hell out of me. You know, back in the days of science fiction in the 1960s and 70s, a guy named Isaac Asimov wrote a series of laws for robots. And the first law of robotics was do no harm to humankind. No harm at all to humankind. Well, they're not programming that into the AI. The AI has not learned empathy. AI, as far as I can tell so far, has not learned regard for human life. This could be a problem. But Ray thinks we all ought to get... Oh, he also says thanks to nanotechnology, little nano machines swimming in our bloodstream, that they would be able to repair cellular damage from age, disease, even cancer. So you got all these little machineries in your body keeping you alive, which will lead to immortality, effectively. I don't want to be immortal. And 65 years that I've already lived has been hard enough. Yeah, I'm going to be a broke-ass YouTube reviewer until the end of time? I don't think so. Well, thanks for spending a long time with me. This video got way longer. It got rambling. It got stupid. But yes, yesterday's video was an April Fool's joke. The content of this video may change a little bit of this channel. I may go more to pipe and cigar reviews, even though I'm less fanatical about combustible tobacco than tobacco you don't have to set fire to. I won't ever review dip. Sorry, not my thing. Probably not leaf or plug chewing tobacco either, although I've got a little brick a day's work up in my humidor, keeping it nice and moist for the day that I decide to grab my K-bar or my Barlow and go outside and cut off a chunk of the plug and chew it up like juicy fruit. That's going to happen, but you probably won't see it on camera. From the dank basement, Paul Shellbetter. Yeah, yesterday was an April Fool joke. Today is April 2nd, 2023. And incidentally, today, were my father alive, today would be his 91st birthday. Sadly, he passed away in 2007, my mother in 2017. So sometimes I feel like a motherless child, a long way from my home. Hope you have a great Sunday and have a great week.